I was chilling in my boxers, enjoying a bacon sandwich, when a gray SUV came barreling across my side yard, crushing my wildflower patch in its wake. The driver, a woman rocking cheetah print sunglasses, hopped out, gave me a wave like I was her personal valet, and shouted, "Marlene said this is okay!" I stood there frozen, mouth packed with bread, just staring at the tire tracks imprinted across my late uncle's butterfly haven. That was the exact moment I decided this was war. Not only with the driver, but with Marlene Dawson herself, the HOA president who had turned my private lot into her own personal parking empire. 6 months earlier, I'd inherited my Uncle Walt's farmhouse, a cozy, sprawling property on the fringe of a polished HOA neighborhood. Walt left me everything: the house, the barn, the fields, and a scruffy patch of land I had plans to turn into a workshop. For the time being, it was a wild mix of tall grass, blooming flowers, and quirky garden gnomes Walt claimed were pest repellents. At first, the neighbors seemed all right, lots of khakis and synchronized lawn mowing. But then I met Marlene. She knocked on my door carrying a welcome basket that smelled aggressively like fake lavender and superiority. Her smile was as genuine as a politician's handshake. "We're so thrilled a real homeowner is finally here after Walt," she chirped, eyeing my jeans. "I'd love to get you aligned with our community standards." I nodded politely and shut the door the second she said, "Compliance." For months, I managed to dodge her, ignoring the flyers about lawn height restrictions and acceptable mailbox fonts. But things got real when cars started popping up on my lot. These weren't guests or confused drivers. They were total strangers, leaving behind tire ruts and fast food wrappers. I caught one guy unloading a picnic cooler. When I confronted him, he just shrugged and said, "Marlene said this is the overflow lot." I told him it was private property. He rolled his eyes and drove off. Later that evening, a sign appeared: HOA guest parking, temporary, written in obnoxious cursive with a winking emoji. Marlene had lost it. I tore the sign down, but by the next morning, a new one had taken its place, laminated and bolted to a post. When I confronted her about it, she just smirked and said, "You're not using it, and this keeps the street looking tidy. Maybe we could work out a shared use agreement." I explained again that the land was mine. She waved it off like it was nothing. "It's practically common property," she said. The cars just kept showing up, some skimming the edge of my fence line. One even stopped for a full-on diaper change right on my grass, like it was some kind of public park. My peaceful meadow had turned into a full-blown suburban truck stop. I put up signs that read, "Private property, no parking," but someone scrawled LOL over them in marker. Then an SUV leaked oil, leaving ugly stains on the native plants Uncle Walt had adored. Seething, I stormed over to Marlene's house and banged on her door. She opened it wearing a floral apron, not a wrinkle on it, and sighed like I was a child throwing a tantrum. "Let's not make this territorial," she said, voice syrupy. "It's about community." I didn't respond. I just turned and walked away, rage low-burning. That night, beer in hand, I started sketching. Not a plan for a workshop anymore, but for revenge. I dove into research. Zoning laws, property lines, easements. Walt's lot, turns out, sat entirely outside the HOA, classified as a separate parcel with zero shared rights. Satellite images backed it all up. The next day, I drove 2 counties over to a hardware store and loaded my truck with trail cameras, spike strips, motion lights, and a no trespassing sign that practically roared with authority. Within 24 hours, I transformed the lot into a fortress. Spike strips tucked under turf, cameras feeding straight to my phone, lights set to blast the moment they detected motion. I even ran a test with a wheelbarrow. The spikes snapped up like rattlesnakes. By midnight, the meadow had become a trap. I went to bed with a grin, dreaming of the moment Marlene would hear that first tire pop. Come morning, I sat on the porch with my coffee, watching. At exactly 8:07 a.m., a red sedan rolled in. It hesitated, then pulled onto the lot, right onto the hidden spikes. A loud hiss cut through the air. The driver, a guy in a polo shirt and Bluetooth earpiece, jumped out cussing as his tire flattened. I sipped my coffee, watching the live cam feed with a smile. He made a call, and sure enough, Marlene showed up, storming in wearing a teal tracksuit, not surprised but furious, like the spikes had insulted her personally. She marched up to me, fingers stabbing the air. "What did you do?" she demanded. I shrugged, all innocence. "Secured my property," I said. "This isn't a lot. It's not yours to booby-trap," she screeched. I pointed to the half-hidden sign. "Private property, spike strips active. Trespassers assume risk." Below it, a QR code linked to a folder titled Marlene's Parking Fiasco. "Go ahead, report me," I said. "I've got it all on camera." Her mouth opened, but no words came out. Then she spun toward the driver, dragging him into a furious whisper fight, her hands flying. Eventually, a tow truck came to haul the sedan away. Marlene watched it go, glaring at me like she thought she could blink the spikes out of existence. Later that afternoon, I found an envelope slipped under my doormat. Inside, an HOA fine for... They slapped me with a $1,500 fine. Something about unsafe conditions and anti-community hostility. I just laughed and forwarded it to my lawyer, Tara. She called me, absolutely howling. "This is garbage," she said. "Your lot isn't even part of the HOA. Keep documenting everything." She's digging her own grave. Fired up, I bought even more spike strips and upgraded to voice-activated cameras. That same night, I wired in speakers set to blast. "Trespassing detected. Leave now." Around 10 p.m., a pickup crept into the lot, trying to lay cardboard over the spikes. The intercom blared, startling the driver so badly he tripped, panicked, reversed, and flattened Marlene's latest sign. I saved the footage under the title Cardboard Catastrophe. Next day, another fine was taped to my door, this time for $3,004, claiming psychological endangerment. Tara actually snorted when I told her. "She's just making up rules now," she said. To be sure, I contacted the county. They confirmed it. My lot was officially zoned rural and totally outside HOA jurisdiction. Meanwhile, the neighborhood started noticing. A few peeked through curtains, but others started giving me nods of support. One day, Henry, a retired guy from down the block, wandered over. "Marlene's lost it," he muttered. "She fined my grandson for flying a kite. We're with you." That night, I added floodlights. Now the lot looked like a stage, ready to spotlight the next trespasser. At 1 a.m., my cameras lit up. Two people, one unmistakably Marlene's niece, the one Tara warned me about, sneaking in with sheets of plywood. I triggered the speaker. "Trespassing recorded." Smile for the sheriff. They ran for it. One tripped. The plywood got left behind. I saved that footage as Marlene's Midnight Raiders. Next day, I drove to the county office and pulled every record they had on my property. That's when I found the gem. A zoning clause from the 80s stating no HOA could impose rules without the landowner's explicit consent. That was my ace. Tara and I drafted a cease and desist letter citing trespass, fraud, and vandalism. We sent copies to Marlene and the entire HOA board. Her reply? Another fine for visual terrorism because of my floodlights. I couldn't help but laugh. But Henry came by again, face a little more serious. "She's getting desperate. Be careful." Sure enough, that evening, Marlene parked her Lexus right on my lot. She pounded a sign into the ground, "Event Parking, HOA Code 4.1.2. I recorded everything. Took the sign down. Then I put up my own. "Trespassing is a crime. Cameras active." She stood there like a general claiming new territory, completely unaware she'd just given me the best evidence yet. The HOA meeting? That was the showdown. I walked in without warning, cease and desist in hand. Marlene, dressed in a Pepto-Bismol pink power suit, froze mid-sentence when she saw me. As I handed out the zoning documents and played the clip of her hammering in the sign, I said loud and clear, "This lot is mine. Every fine, every parked car, completely illegal." The board just stared, jaws slack. Then Henry stood. "We need to investigate Marlene." Another board member nodded. "Seconded." Marlene lost it. "He's destroying our community harmony," she shrieked. Someone mumbled, "You fined me for rose bushes clashing with my shutters." That was it. The vote passed, 5-1. They were officially opening a probe into Marlene's actions. Her glare could have incinerated a pine tree. but she had no escape. 2 nights later, my cameras caught her niece again, this time spray painting "no parking" across my wildflowers. I flipped on the floodlights. The speaker boomed, "Trespassing." Sheriff alerted. She bolted, pink hoodie flapping, stumbling over her own can of paint. I sent the video to Tara and the sheriff. By noon, deputies were knocking on Marlene's door. Her niece cracked under questioning. The county slapped Marlene with a citation for misuse of private property and hinted at possible fraud charges. The board wasted no time. She was removed. Henry was elected in her place. The neighborhood actually celebrated. People brought over beers and hung out on my porch for the first time. Marlene's house went up for sale a week later. Her HOA Star of the Year plaque tossed in the trash. As for me, I sold the lot to a developer with a hard no HOA clause baked in.